So much for tuning in at this time. I greatly appreciate it. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Man, hey, great win. Glad we got the win. Finally got back to 500. We needed this W, right? Lakers were not looking too great. Now we're on a bit of a win streak here. Not the greatest win, I'll say that. But yeah, I would like a win where we're not stressing it, right? It's just like, man, I want a win where it's like, okay, like there we go, got some comfort, right? I mean, look, the Raptors shot well. You know, they played a great game. You know, they've been looking much better since the trade. So the Lakers, you know, have been struggling, to put it lightly. So for them to come in, get this win, I'll take what we can get. Right, we needed this W. Now we're at 19-19. Hopefully we can continue this streak. Hopefully we can continue to build on this momentum. But yeah, we still got a lot of work to do. But anyway, let's dive into the box scores and all that stuff. Break it all down, and then I'll jump into all of the super chats and comments and all that stuff. But let's get into the box score right away. So starting off, Cam Reddish. If only he could shoot like this regularly, right? Cam Reddish had an excellent night shooting the basketball. You know, I'm not expecting him to shoot 66% from three, but can he at least shoot well enough to be respectable, right? To where like he's not a liability out there on the offensive side. You know, I mean, can he shoot 36%? You know, 35%, right? If he can just give us even league average, that would be great. But yeah, he was 4 of 7 from the field total, 4 of 6 from three. He had a steal, a rebound, and he gave us 13 points, which was nice. LeBron James, 8 of 17 from the field, 2 of 5 from three. He even hit that big logo three, hit that clutch three to tie it late. We needed that. But 12 assists, really was dishing it out. A couple careless passes, right? You know, the flat pass, as Stu greatly pointed out in that game, needs to do a better job with that, taking care of the basketball. But 22, 12, and 5, right? Solid game from him. Anthony Davis was a monster. He had a season high tonight in 41 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, a block, and just, I mean, did everything. He only missed one free throw, 13 of 14, which is great. It's what we needed him to knock down, right? It's been a big struggle for the Lakers. The free throws, the foul line has not been great for the Lakers. So to see him finally knock down and have a good night shooting the free throws was excellent. Taurean Prince, 2 of 6 from three, 4 of 8 from the field total, 11 points. Austin Reeves, 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from three. He continues to just shoot. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's getting to the point where he's like passing up wide open threes, right? He had that one where he was just wide open and made the pass to Taurean Prince instead. Yeah, I mean, look, Reeves has been better lately, especially, you know, dishing out the assists and stuff, handling some of the playmaking duties. But man, like he needs to find a shot. I don't know what it is with him shooting the three ball, but we need him to get back to being a reliable three-point shooter. I'm not saying he has to shoot 42% or whatever he shot last year, but can you at least be like average shooting the three ball, right? Like that was one of the big benefits of him. It was like, oh man, this is a guy that can shoot the three, knock down the three ball, be consistent in that end. Gave us 11 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal. D'Lo, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 6 from three, 5 assists, 11 points. But he also only played half the time that Reeves did, and gave us almost the same amount. He made one more three. He gave us the same exact amount of points and gave us almost the same amount of assists in literally half the time, right? So, you know, I need to see Reeves kind of pick it up a little more. Christian Wood continues to be excellent, right? I mean, I made a whole video about Christian Wood, and it needs to, I mean, keep this. This guy is doing everything. He played 23 minutes. He was 50% from the field, 50% from three, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 14 points. I mean, the guy is just doing everything you could ask for. Max Christie kind of showed you why I don't like closing with him late in games, right? I mean, that Siakam challenge, let him dunk the ball. And that's the problem. Like, look, I love Max Christie. Max Christie is excellent. He had a huge rebound late in this game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to get on Max Christie's helmet, but he's also 20 years old, and he's going to make mistakes, and he's going to do things that, you don't want to put him in a position late in the game, right? It's why people are like, oh, why don't, Darvin Ham should be playing Max Christie 30 minutes or Darvin. Yeah, like he is great in a minimal role, coming in, giving you 15 minutes a game. This game he played 18. He was 2 of 2 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, got you 6 points. Like, that's the kind of role that I like him in, personally. Because there's a lot of things that he does excellent, a lot of things that he does great, but there's a lot of things that he just is a 20-year-old kid and makes those mistakes, and the Lakers aren't in a position to afford that, right? I'm not saying Max Christie shouldn't be in the rotation, nothing like that. He definitely should play. He definitely should be in the rotation, but, in that minimal spot role to where he can come in. If he's killing it, he's having a great game, and he's like 5 of 5 from 3 or something like that, then sure, leave him in the game. You can let him play. But I think the role that he's in right now, in just those like minimal spots, I think is perfect as that kind of player. But look, I say it all the time, right? Lakers had whatever. I say it all the time. Lakers had 3, 6, 7 guys in double figures. Right? You had 3 guys with 11, 1 guy with 14, 41, 22, 13. Right? When the Lakers are sharing the basketball, again, 34 assists. I don't believe the Lakers have lost a game when they've had more than 30 assists. Right? Every time that the ball is moving and it's not sticking, and multiple guys are in double figures, and multiple guys are playing well, and we're hitting shots, and we're playing basketball the way that it's meant to be played, you're going to win more games than you're not, right? Lakers have 34 assists, 7 guys in double figures, and guess what? Another Lakers win. I point that out every time. Almost every time this season the Lakers have won, it has looked just like this. And so, monster game from AD. AD continues to play like, an MVP type player, man. This guy needs to at least be in the conversation. He's definitely going to get the Defensive Player of the Year. That is a given, in my opinion. I don't think he'll win the MVP, but I definitely think he needs to be in the conversation. Seriously, I think he definitely needs to be in the conversation. At least be a mention, honorable mention, whatever. Because he is playing unreal. But great game from the Lakers. But that being said, let's dive into all of your super chats and then regular questions and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Also, real quick, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys are beautiful. Andrew, starting us off with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'll take any win. We got bailed out, to be honest. We absolutely did. Nothing changes. We need to trade everyone, not name Bron and AD. Try to keep Wood, Prince, and Max all in. Yeah, I mean, I think they're not going to trade Christian Wood because there's no value. He's a vet minimum contract, so there's no point in trading him, right? And no team is going to be oh, we need to have Christian Wood back, because there's no guarantee that he's going to stay, and he's on a vet minimum. So I don't see the Lakers necessarily trading Christian Wood. Definitely think they need to keep Prince because, like I've mentioned, he has been our 3rd most consistent guy. Every time I say that, people go, oh, he's not our 3rd, but there's a difference between consistency and being our best, right? Prince isn't our 3rd best player. He's just been the most consistent. Game in and game out, that guy gives you 3 to 4 threes a game. Game in and game out, the guy hits big shots, right? He makes winning plays. Yes, is he frustrating sometimes with his decision making? Sure. At times, he'll go and get beat on a defensive assignment or something. Yes, it's frustrating. I get it. But you need guys like him. For as many moments as there have been where it's like, man, I wish he would have rotated or he would have done whatever. He makes a big winning play where he's tracking down the basketball, doing the dirty work, doing the hustle plays, hitting the big shots. He's not afraid. He's comfortable in the moment. I mean, look at the last game. He hit clutch free throws after not shooting a free throw for 5 games or whatever it was, right? You got to keep Prince. And then Max, I hope we keep Max Christie. I truly, genuinely believe has the potential to be a star one day, right? Again, he's 20 years old. You could basically hide him for the next 5 years and he'd be younger than most guys drafted this year or this coming up year, right? So I definitely want to keep Max Christie if we have to, or if we can. If we have to, then you got to let him go. But Yeah, I would love to keep Prince, Wood, Max. Um, yeah, outside of that, you could back Jamal. I would want to keep Cam Reddish, right? And it's not because he had a good game. It's because you're not going to get value. He's been excellent defensively for us. Gives us some athleticism out on the perimeter. If you get a guy like a Zach LaVine or something like that, then you can play him more, and he's not a net negative. Um, Also, he's been better offensively than Vanderbilt, not by much, but he's still been better offensively by Vanderbilt. And then you have these occasional games where he's just knocking down threes. So I want to keep them because again, there's no value in trading him, right? If he was like a $10 million contract, then sure. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll take the win. We definitely got bailed out, but hey, I'll take the win. Right? I'm not going to complain about winning. But yeah. Anyway, Adam, great game. Yes. Role players as stands. Yeah. Everyone. This is another solid game. Everyone steps up. Everyone plays well. We win more times than not. What would we do without Anthony Davis? Lose a lot of games. We would be the Detroit Pistons. I'm a Laker fan, but the refs helped us out win game. I'm in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they definitely helped us out. Absolutely. I'll take it, though. I mean, think of all the times that the refs owe us a couple of these. Anthony Dominant Davis, EFX. Why can Austin only hit clutch threes? Literally, I'm glad he hit that three, but yeah, I don't know what is up with his 3-point shot this year. It has been terrible, terrible. He just cannot find a rhythm when it comes to the three ball, and we need him to start knocking down threes. If he could just hit, and I'm not saying he has to shoot elite. I'm just saying, like, if he could just be like kind of good from three, it would open up so much more. Again, teams are willing to just let him shoot. Teams are willing to let him go one-on-one, right? Like, so many people are like, now, why do you want a guy like Zach LaVine? Because they're not going to do that to Zach LaVine. Teams are totally okay with letting Austin Reeves beat them. Teams are not going to be okay with Zach LaVine. He's 45% on catch and shoot threes. He can just blow by you. He's going to hit those more times than he's not, right? He's 38 to 40% career three-point shooter, right? Like Austin Reeves, like teams are like, hey, just let him go one-on-one, pack the paint, try to control AD, right? Bring the help defender if he gets two inside. But more times than not, teams are just comfortable letting him shoot or letting him do whatever. I mean, watch the games. Watch how many wide open threes Austin Reeves gets. He gets a ton of them. Like Taurean Prince gets far more contested threes than Austin Reeves does. Because again, Taurean Prince is hitting them. Austin Reeves isn't. So it's like, we'll take our chances. If he starts heating up, we'll make the adjustment. So we need Reeves to find his 3-point shot badly. Defense is horrible, and refs help drastically tonight. Even as a Laker fan, I can admit this. Yeah, they definitely did, and it was bad. CP3 on a buyout would be a home run if we trade D'Lo for a win or a big. I believe that's going to happen. I really do. I mean, look, I said it when he went to the Warriors. I was like, I don't see the Warriors keeping him all season. I think what's going to happen is the Warriors are going to end up trading him. He's going to end up getting bought out, and then he's going to go sign with the Lakers. That's what I think. I could be wrong. There's no again, I'm just a fan. I'm just some guy. I don't have any inside information. I'm not friends with CP. We're not going for drinks on Wednesday or anything. Like it's just like, because he's going to want to go play with his buddy LeBron. Right. There were talks to him wanting to play with the Lakers this offseason if he was bought out. And then he goes to the Warriors, right? He's accepted a bench role. The Lakers make any trade, you're going to end up trading D'Lo, possibly even Gabe Vincent, right? You're going to need to go get a secondary playmaker off the bench. Chris Paul, I think, fits that beautifully, right? Because you're not going to need him to play 30 to 40 minutes a game, right? Like people are always like, yeah, but he's injury prone. Yeah, he's injury prone because he's playing 35 minutes a game everywhere he goes, right? With the Lakers, you just need him for like 15 to 20 minutes. Let him play in a small role. He's not going to have as much of an impact, or he's not going to have to have as much of an impact. We just need him to basically make plays and run the offense when LeBron's getting a rest. You always talk about this, but we hit all free throws down the stretch. One free throw missed, and it would have been a different story. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You make your free throws, right? Lakers have been bad making free throws. There's so many games that you could point to this season and go like, if the Lakers just made half of their free throws, they would have won. Like half of the free throws that they missed. Like there's so many games where the Lakers have like 7 missed free throws and they lose by like 3. And it's like, man, if you made half of those, we would have tied or won the game. It's just Lakers got to make the free throws. I don't know what it is. Good win, Lakers. Yeah, I will take it. Is it time for D'Lo and Hayes to pack their bags? I think a trade's coming. I genuinely do. Look again. I could be completely wrong. I think the moves that the Lakers have made with the two-way guys and stuff, right? I understand the thinking of like, oh well, with Gabe Vincent out, right? We got this guy who can come in, and Jalen Uchifino's going to the G League and stuff, right? I don't buy that, because why not do that 2 weeks ago? Why not do that when Gabe Vincent got hurt? Like, why do that literally like a week before the Lakers can make a trade? This is me putting on a tinfoil hat and my little conspiracy theory. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it is completely unrelated. But why would you get rid of two young prospects that you're growing and developing on a two-way deal? That's the whole point of a two-way deal. Two-way deal is to get guys that you like to play in the G League. They're usually young guys, development guys that you can kind of bring up in spots and kind of let them get some minutes in here and there. Not saying no teams ever use veteran guys, but the Lakers are, they have plenty of talent, right? Why go get a guy like Dylan Windler? Why go get a guy like, what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? Mays, right? Why go get a guy like Mays? Like, why do those things to get rid of the young guys when you already, even with Vincent out, you still have Reeves, who's been better playmaking. You got D'Lo back, right? Why wouldn't you do that when D'Lo was injured and we didn't know when he was day-to-day, right? It's just the timing for me is odd. But it's like, hey, if you trade D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent, then you're going to need guys to come in and play those type of roles, or at least bare minimum be into the bench guys, right? So how do you do that? Because any trade the Lakers make is going to be a 3-for-1, or it's going to be like a 2-for-1 or whatever. And the Lakers only have 14 spots, right? Let's say, just using it as an example, let's say we trade for Zach LaVine. You're talking D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent minimum. Say you could convince them to give you Andre Drummond, right? Lakers drop down to 10. They get LaVine and Drummond back. That puts them at 12, right? And now it's like, okay, well, now you bring in those two-way guys. You call them up, right? Because if you were interested in just like having them play in the meantime, why not make them 10 days, right? Like if all it was just like, hey, we need a guy momentarily, right? Why not just give them 10 days and then have them run on the 10 days? And then there you go. Like, why use the two-way deals for that? Like, when there's other options that they could do, or sign them to a non-guaranteed or something, right? Like, and have them be the 15 spot. I don't know. It's weird to me. Again, tinfoil hat on, could be wrong. But ran over. Jesus, welcome back, Tyler. Thank you. Appreciate you. Yeah. Sorry I missed the last game, which sucks because we beat the Clippers. But I did. I had to go handle some stuff. I haven't been hearing trade AD much recently. Yeah, it is. It's that's why I've always said you're not replacing Anthony Davis. How happy were you back in 2020 when the Lakers and Dodgers both won the chip? I was extremely happy, and I'm hoping this year is that year again. I'm hoping the Lakers bounce back, figure it out, whether it's like whatever. I don't care, whatever it is. Reeves got to go. Reeves doesn't have to go, but he's got to be better. He really does. He has to be better. Again, if we can get a guy that can be that third guy, then Reeves becomes that much more impactful. You know, like whether it's LaVine or it's somebody else, right? If you can get that bona fide third guy, then when Reeves has games like this, it's fine, right? Okay, great example. We have yet to win a game when D'Angelo Russell doesn't play. I mean, we literally have lost every game that D'Lo doesn't play, right? D'Lo comes back, we win 2 straight games. Now, look, D'Lo isn't like out there torching it and just absolutely dominating and looking like the best player on the Lakers, but it's because he's just another guy that can provide, right? It's another guy that can go and get you double-digit scoring, hit a couple threes, open stuff up, right? So it's not all on LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? If you go get that third guy, then what happens is everyone then falls back into their natural pecking order. So now, Austin Reeves, if he gives you 11, you're still probably going to win those games because you got a guy. And let's, again, just use Zach LaVine. I know not everyone's on board with Zach LaVine. but it's just the easiest person to just come to mind. So say you get Zach LaVine, right? Zach LaVine gives you 20 a game, right? Well, now Reeves, if he gives you 11 and LaVine gives you 20, you're getting that 20 points that you're not getting from anyone else right now. Even if he has a bad game, he's going to give you 15. You're not getting the 15 points from anywhere else, right? And so, and then the games that Reeves goes off and gives you 20, you probably win all those games, right? Almost every time Reeves and D'Lo have a good game, the Lakers win. Every time those two combine for 30 points, the Lakers win. Now, if you could get basically a more consistent version and Zach LaVine, and he gives you 20 a game, then all you need is Reeves to give you 11, right? And then Taurean Prince, when he's coming in and he's chipping in with, 10 points or whatever, right? Now that 10 points is that much more impactful because now he's not the third or fourth guy. He's the fifth, sixth, seventh guy, right? It's just the pecking order drops down. Things get more easier. RJ is eating AR alive, VFX. Hello, as it stands, it's me, Lebronto. I'm just on another account. But anyways, great win. Shout out to AD. Because if you missed two, then we lose by what EFX. Absolute facts. What's going on, Lebronto? Appreciate you being here. AR was doing good off the bench than starter, which is why look, I've talked about it. I know a lot of people wanted him back in the starting lineup. I like him off the bench because he gives you the same production regardless. Whether he starts or he comes off the bench, he gives you the exact same production, right? It's more for him. It's more about the minutes. It's more about the opportunity out there. And my thing is I'd rather just bring him off the bench and let him be more productive in that bench role, and it boosts the bench role, and he kind of gets a bigger, more prominent role. But regardless, we'll see. Zach will be okay on defense. I mean, to put it in perspective, this year, in a bad year for him, he's got a better defensive rating than both Taurean Prince and Austin Reeves. So he's not going to be worse than those two guys. He, for his career, is better than league average. So many people are like, oh, he's a liability defensively. His whole career, he's been better than average, right? You don't necessarily need him to be elite defensively. You just need him to be average, right? Because you have the defense. But his offense is going to offset anything. Problem is, Austin Reeves goes and gives you an 11-point game, but he gives up 30. So it's again, he's like a net negative more times than not, right? Because he can't stay in front of guys. He's not quick enough. At least Zach LaVine has the quickness to stay in front of guys. Again, I'm not saying he's an elite defender. I'm not even saying he's going to be good. I don't know. We'll see. I think he'll be better because I think he'll be bought in. I think he's going to want to impress with the Lakers. I think, he's going to be surrounded by other defensive guys, right? Where you look at a team like Chicago, who are their defenders, right? They don't really have very many lockdown defensive guys. They don't have a guy like Anthony Davis that makes up for so much, right? When you have Jared Vanderbilt in the game, right? He's now not as much of a liability because you got an elite offensive threat in a guy like Zach LaVine, right? Zach LaVine, even if let's say he gives up 20, he's still probably going to go get you 30. So at least he's a positive, right? Or at worst, if on a bad game, he gives you a wash. That's better than every game you're a -7 because Austin Reeves. So again, I think he'll be fine. I'm not complaining, but the refs handed us this win. Agreed. That free throw differential in the fourth quarter was egregious. Yeah, definitely. What's going on? What's going on, Lee? Appreciate you being here, bro. How was AR? How AR was horrible. I wouldn't say he was horrible, but he wasn't very good. Personally. Give some respect to Christian Wood. I made a whole video about Christian Wood earlier today. Trust me, I have been on the Christian Wood bandwagon. I have been even before he started playing the way he's playing. Go back and look at the receipts. I'm telling you, man, I have been on it. But finally using him was in foul trouble, but he can get boards and hit those threes. Yeah, I really like Wood. I really think Wood is a guy that can make a huge impact on this team. Toronto attacked AR and scored almost every time on him. Yeah, that's what most teams are doing. Most teams are generating their offense by getting AR switched on them and then just attacking them and being aggressive. But I understand your reasoning for letting Reeves go in the event THT, or in the event that we get LaVine Caruso. But if we were able to keep him, it would put our offense over the top throughout the course of a game. Yeah, I mean, but I just if you could get Caruso, then yes, I wouldn't mind that. But I don't want to trade Reeves just to trade Reeves. But my thinking is like so here's my concern. A couple things. One, my biggest concern is that if you get Zach LaVine, you basically neutralize Austin Reeves, right? Because if you go trade for, like right now, what is Austin Reeves' role? Is to basically be that third scorer and be that other guy down the stretch to close out games, right? But if you get a guy like a Zach LaVine, then now you don't need Austin Reeves, and you shouldn't close games with Reeves. You shouldn't, because you can't have LaVine and Reeves out there. Like you're gonna get torched, right? I mean, yes, you could go with like a Jared Vanderbilt, but I don't know. And I'm not saying you can't try it. But unless Zach LaVine really buys in on the defensive side, you're probably going to be in trouble, right? So, but also then Reeves just kind of becomes like that fourth guy out there. And it's like, I almost feel like I'd rather go with Taurean Prince because he's just shooting the three ball better. So then you just kind of have him off ball, tucked away. And then he's bigger and been, slightly better defensively. But regardless, like my thing is that like if you can flip Reeves into Caruso would be the perfect complement. You would probably start Caruso, right? He's shooting like 42% from 3-point range or something like that. So he's giving you 3-point shooting. He's your great point of attack, lockdown defensive guy with good size. So you could do like a closing five of like LaVine, Caruso, like Vanderbilt, LeBron, and AD. Or you could go with Cam Reddish, whatever, right? And now you have Caruso who can be that frontline defensive guy. You got Anthony Davis in the background. You got Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish as that other just elite perimeter defender, point of attack defender. Zach LaVine, if he can just be serviceable. And then LeBron James, right? Which he can, in a moment, in a spot, lock down and do what he needs to be. So you basically are switchable 1 through 5. You have Caruso, who can knock down the 3 ball. You got Zach LaVine, who can knock down the 3 ball. LeBron James, when he's on, he can knock down the 3 ball. Cam Reddish, if you go with Cam Reddish, if he can just be serviceable from 3, great. And then Anthony Davis. I just think you're just much more balanced. My thing is that, like, if you keep Reeves, yes, offensively, you would be good. But, again, like, you have to, like, find spots for Reeves. I just think my concern is you just neutralize Reeves, where Caruso you wouldn't neutralize because you would need him desperately. Like you need a player like him desperately. So it's kind of my thinking in that regards. But Bobby Portis coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Refs really saved us tonight. Scotty, only 2 free throws. The refs absolutely saved us tonight. But hey, like I said, they owe us. I mean, think of all the games that they have just butchered for us. So, I will gladly take this W at the hands of the refs. It's about time. Seriously. Like, it is about time. Like, so I will, again, I'll take it. I want to see the Lakers actually just, like, win games, Like, that would be nice. But, hey, I'll take it where I can get it, right? I'm not going to be not going to complain too much about it. But, yes, the refs absolutely did help us a ton. But, again, Bob Portis, appreciate you. Let's see, where were we? Man, AR should be averaging 25 points per game with how good AD and LeBron have been playing. Dude barely scratched 50. AR didn't even scratch 50. Didn't he only have 11 points? So the problem with AR is he can't hit threes. If he was back to like 40% from 3, he would probably be averaging like 17 a game. He can't hit 3. Like every game, he's like 1 of 4 or 1 of 6 or whatever, right? Like if he was getting back to like 50, he was 1 of 6 today. If he shot 40%, he would have made what? He would have made like 2 of them. So then he would have been at 14, right? That's what I'm saying. Like if every game, it would have been 2.5, technically 3, but get my point. Like if he just gave you, 2 or 3 threes a game on the ones that he's shooting, and he's shooting like 5 a game or whatever, 4 or 5 a game. So if he just hit like 2 or 3 of those games, he'd be giving you like 17. He just can't shoot this season. I don't know what it is. Reeves didn't shoot and defend well, but how he make the right and winning plays is amazing. And also, Wood needs more minutes if we make a trade. Keep Reeves, LeBron, AD, Prince, Max at all costs. I think what'll end up. I think Wood will end up getting a bigger role. I think once they end up trading like Rui and all that stuff, because if they're gonna make any trade, Rui's gone, D'Lo's gone, and then whatever else. I think that's when you're gonna see Wood kind of step into a bigger role. Don't stop believing. Because the more Reeves plays, the more he gets exposed. Yes. Austin D. Uh, Austin Z is better in one key dagger. Yeah, I mean, he did hit a big spot. He's not afraid of the moment, which is good. Reeves' IQ is solid, but the defense was bad. Yeah, I mean, because he doesn't have the lateral quickness. He's not like hyper athletic to where he can make up for his elements on the defensive side. He's a defensive liability. Let's see. We still got a long way to go. Need to be better on defense. Yeah, we need to be better on both sides of the basketball, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, look, a lot of work to go. Players are good, just the rotation. Players have not been good. Players have not been good. Look, they haven't been, right? Like, look, Darvin Ham has not been good this year. He's been better the last few games. He hasn't been great, but he's been better the last few games. Especially his rotation has been much better the last few games. It does do a couple questionable things, like I said, like the Max Christie at the end. But I mean, I guess you could argue he made a good defensive play, or not a good defense play, the good big offensive board, which was huge. But like in the Clipper game, taking out Christian Wood, that bothered me. But the players they haven't been good. Like they just haven't. Right? I mean, again, I'm not saying that the coach isn't part of the problem, but he's not the only problem. Like players just aren't stepping up. Players are just not doing what they're supposed to be doing. LaVine is so underrated. Look, you're preaching to the choir here. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just I don't think people are understanding the value and what he does for the Lakers. I mean, besides just being able to score, right? I mean, everyone knows he can score. Everyone knows he's an elite scorer. But it's just how much he would open up for the Lakers as a whole. Teams having to defend that, right? Like right now, teams are just basically pack the paint, leave key guys open, and just make sure Anthony Davis doesn't go off for 40. And Anthony Davis is so good, he still goes off for 40, right? But when you have Zach LaVine, you can't do those things. You can't let Zach LaVine just go one-on-one all game because he's going to go off for 50. So it opens things up. Now defenses have to adjust, right? It takes pressure off of LeBron and AD, right? Now LeBron doesn't have to go and score 15 and a quarter for us to just lose the quarter by one. Right now, you got a guy when LeBron does go to the bench, you have that offensive weapon that can just, hey, LeBron's going to get 5 minutes of rest, right? I need you to go give me 10, right? Like, and LaVine will be like, okay, yeah, no problem, got it, coach. Let me go get this bucket. I mean, it's going to make things so easy for him. It's going to make things so easy for LeBron and AD. It's going to make everything for everybody. It really is. It's going to make things so much easier. Lewis coming out to Super Chat. Thank you so much. D'Lo plays better than Reeves. He absolutely does. D'Lo's been very good defensively this year. Like so many people are like, D'Lo has not been like he has been really good defensively. Like he's not elite. He's not anything like that. Like I'm not saying he's Marcus Smart defensive player of the year level, but he has been very good defensively. He's finding his rotations, right? He's not getting beat regularly. He's staying in front of guys. He's challenging guys. He's getting steals. He's disrupting passing lanes. He's doing all the things that you need him to do on the defense side. He's really bought in defensively. Again, he's not crazy elite. He doesn't have the athleticism and foot speed and stuff. But if Austin Reeves played anything close to the level of defense D'Lo is playing, Austin Reeves would not be this. They wouldn't be targeting Austin. Teams aren't targeting D'Lo the way that they're targeting Austin Reeves because D'Lo's actually been very good defensively. He's been doing what he's supposed to do on the defense side. Again, he's not elite. He's not some like incredibly great defensive player, but he's been very good this year. Very good. This is the best defense he's played in his entire career. And he's been above league average, right? Like the guy's been very good. Bobby coming out $2 super chat. LaVine, Drum, AC, D'Lo, Rui, Gabe, AR, and pray for CP3 on the buyout. I would be perfectly fine with it. Give me LaVine, Drummond, and Alex Caruso. D'Lo, Rui, Gabe, AR, totally okay with that. Pray for CP3 buyout. I don't even know if you'd have to give all that up, but I would try to, if it was me, I would try to convince them like, hey, like we'll give you AR, but we're gonna keep Gabe and stack the others, like stack other contracts. Cause you could like, especially if you can keep a first. Because I think you could talk Chicago into AR heavily, right? Like, and kind of use him to steer the ship. So basically, like, get LaVine, Drummond, AC. We'll give you D'Lo, Rui, AR. Then like a Jalen Hood, Shafino, and whatever Jackson Hayes. And then can you turn like Gabe in a first into something like into a Royce O'Neal or something, and then get CP3 off of a buyout? That would be beautiful, beautiful. Might be a little bit of a dream here, but Reeves is awful from three. Caruso 50, 42, 77% free throw. Yeah, Caruso's been excellent. And yeah, Reeves has just been, and that's another concern that I have because Reeves, if we get Zach LaVine, Reeves is probably not going to play on the ball as much because you're going to have LaVine. And so he's going to have to play off the ball more. And if he can't shoot, now he becomes a liability. So I don't know. I have my concerns with Austin Reeves. If he could just get back to shoot, if he could get back to shooting 35 to 40%, right? Then I think there's a ton of value in him because he can play off the ball and be a real threat from 3-point range. But I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see. Time will tell. We're still a week away before anything can happen, so still got a little time. Reeves was off, but when it's clutch time, he's there. He is, like I said, he's not afraid of the moment. Not afraid of the moment. But you can make the argument if Reeves was not off regularly, we wouldn't need him to be as clutch as he has been. Go Lakers, yo. Yep. Let's see. Lakers back to 500. Beautiful. Chip 24, 25, 26. Let's get it. I'm with it. I would trade AR. He's not giving the ball on 80 in the second half. Yeah. You're not just trading him, just trade him. But if you can get the right pieces, I would be all for it. Reddish did shoot very good today. Look, I'm not saying he has to shoot like as good as he did today, but I would love to see him just be, again, just league average. Just give me league average. I wish Reeves was stronger, more athletic. His defense is just easy food for the opposing team. Imagine Reeves trying to guard De'Aaron Fox or Jamal Murray or Kyrie. Yeah, that's my point. And that's the concern. We get smashed if Yaka play. I don't. I still think we might win that game because the reason they were able to stay in that game is they just went small. Just let AD go off for 50 or 40, and just put a bunch of shooters around, like, and made us adjust to them on that side of the ball. So they were just basically trading threes for twos is what they were doing. Which if they had Jakob they probably don't do that. So I think you can make the argument the Lakers might have blown them out if that was the case. Bro, LeBron's turnover ratio was good tonight. 12 and 3 is not easy unless you're Halliburton. Yeah, he was very good. Chris Paul is coming to Lakers as well. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. Again, it's just kind of a idea. If Chris Paul gets bought out, I am very confident he comes to the Lakers. Very confident, assuming that the Lakers make a trade. I don't think he'd come to the Lakers if they don't make a trade. But if the Lakers have a need for a secondary playmaker, I think he comes. It's a no-brainer to get Zach Caruso Drummond for D'Lo, Rui, Gabe plus filler. Real question is whether we should give up Reeves for Dorian Finney-Smith, O'Neal to have a dominant closing starting five. Caruso, Zach, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and AD. I would trade, like, if you could get, you probably have to work it out as a 3-team deal, right? But if you could get, I would trade basically everybody on the roster, like literally keep, not LeBron and AD, of course, but literally, if you could trade basically everybody except for LeBron and AD, and we got back Zach LaVine, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, Alex Caruso, and Andre Drummond, I would do that 7 days a week, 365 years. I mean, Because at that point, you're set. There's your 7 guys. You're basically 7 deep, and you're off to the races. I just like that would be ridiculous. You would have everything you need. You'd have elite scoring, athleticism out on the perimeter, legit 3-and-D, right? Like I would trade basically the entire roster, all the picks, everything we have. If LeBron James and Anthony Davis can't win with Zach LaVine, Royce O'Neal, Alex Caruso, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Andre Drummond in the backup role, and then especially if CP3 came on a buyout, whew, I mean, the Lakers would be the best roster in the league, or they should be the best roster in the league. I mean, granted, you never know how it goes, but you basically just turned everybody. Well, you'd still have to keep Vando because Vando can't be traded, but so you'd still have Vando, but basically you just got upgrades at every position. I would do that 100%. So, but yeah, time will tell. We'll see. If Vando isn't cutting it to the basket, he can't get a bucket. If his life depends on it, yeah, he's very limited on the offensive side, very limited, which sucks. In my opinion, I don't think we should. Zero creation off the bench is not worth it in the long run. I mean, you go get somebody to just fill in that role momentarily. Like I said, you could. Chris Paul gets bought out. Somebody gets bought out. You could fill that in. I would take my chances. But fire him anyways. I'm telling you, they're not going to fire him. Like I've been saying it. There were all the reports, there were all the little rumors and stuff that he was going. They're not going to fire. It makes no sense to fire him this season. Now, if the Lakers underperform and they don't do anything this year, then I think he's gone in the offseason. They're not going to fire him this season. The vibe's still off. D'Lo is the best scoring guard, and he's on the bench in the fourth. Fire him, yeah. Other teams also play their guarding Reeves differently. Now he is on the scouting report. He is playing more on ball and still being pretty good. Basically, our best offense initiator besides LeBron. Yeah, he's getting better. I still don't trust him with ball pressure or consistent heavy ball pressure, but he's been better. Yo, Tyler, I think we did good. Was this supposed to be a win or a close win? I mean, this should have been just a win. But look, I'll take the wins where we can get it. I mean, the refs did help us out tremendously, but I'll take the wins where we can. I don't know why TP is in the lineup because he's been our third most consistent player and the only guy that can consistently hit the 3 ball. That's why he's literally the only guy that game in and game out, you could basically count on him for 3 threes. Let's see. Lakers lucky 80 free throws were going in. If not, we lose by 10. I mean, he's capable of hitting free throws. It's not like he's a bad free throw shooter. He just usually is not 13 for 14 or whatever it was. I love the way AD played. Shout out to Max Prince, Reddish, Wood. D'Lo was getting a little big-headed, but it was cool. Yeah, it was definitely a team win, and I love it. I love those games. Anthony Davis, time and time again, proves why he's the Lakers' best player. Yes, exactly. That's why I always think it's hilarious when people are like, "Oh, we should trade AD." Like, you're not trading Anthony Davis. If it's ever 50-50 balls, AR not getting it facts. Yeah, he doesn't have the quickness and athleticism and stuff. Trading Reeves for Dorian Finney-Smith would be an absolute trash trade. Nets would take that in a heartbeat. It's not about who's the better. It's about fit. Dorian Finney-Smith would fit this team, especially if you went and got like a Zach. Like I said, if you were just to trade Austin Reeves for Dorian Finney-Smith, then no, it would make no sense. That would be stupid. And yes, the Nets would do that 10 times 10. Like they'd probably even give you like other things if they could, right? But again, if you went and got, it's about everything else, right? Let's say you got Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond, and then you turned Reeves into a Dorian Finney-Smith. Now that makes more sense because now the fit is better. You get a legit 3-and-D guy. He's shooting like 44% from 3 on like 6 attempts or something like that. Dude is shooting ridiculous. He can guard and defend 1 through 4. He's one of the premier 3-and-D guys in the league. He's still only like 30, so he's still young enough to where you can have him for the next several years. He's basically an upgraded version of Jared Vanderbilt, right? And if you get a guy like Zach LaVine, you need more legit 3-and-D guys. You need guys that can knock down the open shot, defend the best player on the other team, right? A closing lineup of like of like LaVine, Reddish, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron, and AD. Give me that against any team in the league. You got size, you got switchability, you got three-point shooting, you got athleticism out on the perimeter, right? You got basically everything you need. We won because Wood is in the rotation. Wood is amazing. He needs the minutes. I think AD and LeBron hasn't had any serious injuries yet. They haven't, thank God. Which is another reason why I think the Lakers need to do something fast. We're wasting healthy LeBron and AD. Do Lakers still need to make a trade to win game? Which absolutely they need a trade. Like even in these wins, you can see that the Lakers desperately need a trade. I like how we withstood every run they went on because we were hitting 3 after 3. It was crazy. Glad we were able to counter with our own threes. Yeah, Lakers stuck in it, which is good. But I'd like a little more. Just let's see. 80 will definitely return to the All-Star game. Yeah, we need him to be as good as possible. They always give MVP to the winning team, though. That's why I feel like they won't give it to AD or Braun. I actually liked the rotation today too, as well. Yeah, I thought Darvin Ham has been better the last 2 games. I wonder, partly because he's probably knows he's probably hears all the noise and attention and stuff. But outside of that, yeah, I don't think AD wins MVP this year unless the Lakers just go on some like ridiculous run. He definitely wins Defensive Player of the Year, but I want at least he needs to at least be in the conversation. He doesn't have to win it, but if he's not in the conversation, then that's just nonsense to me. Because he at least deserves to be in the conversation. Bobby coming out $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Bench scoring don't matter in the playoffs. Stagger minutes. Yeah, I mean again, in the playoffs, you're only running 8 guys anyway. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are probably going to play 36 minutes a game in the playoffs anyway. You just need the guys that can kind of weather the storm in the short stints when LeBron James and Anthony Davis are out. You divvy up the minutes, you lock in the proper rotation, the Lakers would be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. You do whatever you got to do. Make it happen. Again, you don't just trade guys, just trade guys. But if you can find the right trades, find the right moves, you get it done. Not going to lie, first time I felt like the restaurant I sat at pains me to say that he gave us a recent history. Yeah. My boy Reeves having an off night and low 3-point made in recent games. I mean, he's been having an off night all season when it comes from 3-point range. Look, I mean, he's had some great games. Don't get me wrong, but shooting the 3-ball this year, he's been rough, man. He has. I mean, he's had stints. He's had little 3 or 4 game stretches or whatever. But game in and game out, he hasn't been very good shooting the 3-ball. Christian Wood is a monster if used properly. Agreed. Can't wait to see what trade's going to happen next week. Like I said, I wouldn't expect. I don't expect anything happening immediately. I still I could see maybe a small trade, right? Again, I could see maybe the Lakers going and getting a Miles Bridges or something, right? But any big trade, don't expect it till closer to the trade deadline. I would love it if it does. If the Lakers, if the Lakers make the trade on the 15th, then beautiful. I'm all for it. But I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see anything until we get closer to the trade deadline. Lakers just need a pure shooter. Problem is, there's very few of those in the league. And we had one last year, Malik Beasley, and he completely forgot how to shoot. So, give me the scorer. I'd rather have the scorer. Give me the guy that can just go get a bucket, right? That he can shoot the 3-ball, but he's not just reliant on the 3-ball. Let's see. Prince was really bad at the beginning of the season. People were saying bench him. I don't know if that's consistent, bro. He had the first game of the season, he scored 18. Then he had a bad night. He was 0 of 6. Then he dropped 20. Then he had a 3-game stretch where he was rough. And since then, he's basically been great. He's had 6 bad games all season. Outside of that, he's had good games, right? And you got to keep in mind, right? We've played 38 games, and he's had maybe 7 bad ones, right? Where he hasn't hit 3 or 4 threes a game. That's pretty consistent. That's called consistency. I mean, no player in the league every single game gives you the same exact production. I mean, even LeBron has had a couple, like a handful of bad games. AD has had a couple bad games, right? Like, again, it's just consistency is about like, what are you providing 9 out of 10 nights? And 9 out of 10 nights, Taurean Prince is giving you 3 or 4 threes. Literally. They were ready to cancel Prince after the second game, after he just came back on that. D'Lo isn't closing games. He's definitely gone. I think he's very likely gone. I'm taking Prince 80 out of 100 times. He fits great with us. I don't care what you all say. He's doing what he was brought here to do. Exactly. He's having the most efficient season of his career. Literally. He's having the most efficient season of his career. The guy has been perfect. Everything you could ask from him, he's done. We didn't bring Vando here for offense, although he has been unplayable a little on the offense. So I think you need to move him off the ball more. Yeah. I mean, he's there to lock down defensively, but let's see. The refs finally helped us out. Yeah, thanks. Like I said, I am so thankful. the refs owe us a couple of those. We would be a scary team with LaVine starting and D'Lo coming off the bench. We should trade Austin, Rui, Gabe for LaVine and Caruso. I mean, look, there's a real argument. And look, I've broken it down. So I'm not going to go like too heavy into it because I made like an entire video about it. But I think there's a real argument to trade Austin Reeves over D'Angelo Russell. I know there's a lot of people that feel otherwise, but I genuinely think there is. Because then at that point, you have your secondary playmaking. He's been much better shooting the 3 ball. He's been much better defensively, right? If he can just show up, 9 out of 10 games, if he could just basically do what he's doing right now, that would be perfect, right? He doesn't have to be great. He just has to be like our 4th or 5th best player. D'Lo skipped media second game in a row since the bench. Yeah, I mean, he's probably not happy about it. Look, I think D'Lo knows he's gone. Again, tinfoil hat. I'm just a fan. Take my stuff with a grain of salt. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers already have the shell worked out for a trade. If the Lakers really are going to do a deal like on the 15th or 16th or something like that, then more likely than not, they've already hashed it out. They've already figured it out. Which is why I think the Lakers went and signed the guys that they did to 2 ways. I do. I genuinely believe that they signed those 2 guys on 2 ways because they have something coming. Whether it's LaVine or something else, I don't know. Again, tinfoil hat on. I could be completely wrong and out of left field. Completely wrong and out of left field. But I think when push comes to shove, I'm going to be, Laker Damas once again. I built that reputation last year. I was calling them like hotcakes. Now, hopefully doing it this year. I wouldn't be surprised if we if the Lakers already have something worked out. Again, don't expect anything till we get closer to the trade deadline because it is in Chicago's best interest to wait. It really is. It's in Chicago's best interest to wait and hope the Lakers continue to be bad and then get desperate. But I wouldn't be surprised because LaVine isn't happy. He's been coming off the bench, all that stuff. I think both sides are like, hey, let's get this done sooner rather than later. Shout outs to the refs, EFX. Let's see. As I am saying, if we make a trade, whether it's for LaVine or DeJounte or some other package, we must keep LeBron, AD, Reeves, Wood, Prince, Max, and maybe Vando. Hope the defense resurrects or something. Yeah, it would be nice. Look, I think if our offense is better, I genuinely think our defense will get back up. It's really hard to play elite defense game in and game out when your offense basically is non-existent. When you're not producing anything on the offense. And more times than not, you see like offense will energize defense. Just like defense will energize offense, the same thing can apply. You'll see guys, cooking on the offensive side, and then everyone's, slapping the floor and just like ready to go, right? It's just, I mean, any sport, football is notorious of that. Like There are years where the number one defensive team in the league doesn't even make the playoffs. Like, it's just because, again, if you don't have, you need to have the balance. You need to have the offense with the defense. You do. If Chris Paul gets traded and bought out, he'd be a perfect fit for the Lakers bench after trade deadline. Facts, 100%. I definitely could see that happening. Definitely could see that happening. The Warriors are very likely going to have to make a trade. They don't have very many options. They're still out of the playoffs or playing right now. They're going to have to do something. The way Siakam played tonight, though, he is so tough. I like Siakam a lot. I just don't think he's a good fit for the Lakers. I don't. There's also concerns that he's going to go to free agency regardless because he'd get more money on the open market than he would signing a new an extension or whatever. But my concern is as long as you have LeBron James, he's going to have to play off the ball, which even in this game, like he's not very comfortable playing off the ball, right? He's kind of just standing in the corner like he's Jared Vanderbilt. Now, he hit a couple threes this game, which is great, but he's 29% from three on the season. So, you know, how much of it was just like it's the Lakers and everyone shoots the lights out against the Lakers, and how much of it was like, you know, he's all of a sudden turning around. Look, I like Siakam a ton. If we didn't have LeBron, I would say sell the farm and go get Siakam. But I just think with LeBron, you need somebody that can play off of LeBron. And I don't think Siakam is going to be able to play well off of LeBron. Obvious that Reeves is having a rough shooting, but Ham still overuses him. Should add minutes to D'Lo instead. He shoots better earlier. If only Ham used D'Lo more. I don't think he's crucial game. Look, I think that the Lakers are going to trade D'Angelo Russell. I think that's why he's not playing that much. I think that's one of the reasons they moved him to the bench. I think they're trying to basically just keep him from not breaking his leg or anything like that, right? They got to play him so that way teams know, like, okay, he can play. But look, Darvin Ham is a guy that loves to just stick with the guys that he likes and trusts, you know, and I mean, most coaches like to do that, whether it's right or wrong. Most coaches do, but I mean, I would like D'Lo to get more playing time. D'Lo has been very good when he gets opportunities. He just, for whatever reason, can't get the opportunity. So I don't know. I see people say no to Zach LaVine because he doesn't shoot. Dude, I've seen people. I think most people don't even know. Well, I don't want to say most people because that's a bit of an exaggeration. I think a lot of people don't even know who Zach LaVine is. Like, genuinely. I get so many comments from people that are like, "Oh, we can't trade for Zach LaVine," and I'm like, "Why?" And they'll say something like, "Oh, he can't shoot threes," or he does, or you know, whatever. Like, he's not an elite scorer, or he's only averaging 20. Like, and I'm just like, okay, so you just say you don't know who Zach LaVine is. You're better off. Like, I'd rather you just be like, I don't know if I like Zach LaVine because I don't know who he is. Then I'd gladly explain it to you. But I get so many comments from people that are just like, you clearly have no idea who Zach LaVine is. Like, I'll get comments from people who are like, Zach LaVine's not a good shooter. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's the only thing he's good at is shooting the basketball. Like, that's what he's built an entire career on. What, you think they just gave him $40 million a year because he's athletic? Like, no, he got that money because he was elite offensively. Guy could go give you 25 a game. Like, so that's the thing. It's just, you know, some people just want to join the conversation and hear their voice more than anything, you know. So it is what it is. I'll take it regardless. It's engagement, but Waja coming in off the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. If LaVine was a bit less injury prone and less than $40 million, I'd be down to trade him with Caruso and Drummond. Yeah, but again, like, I see a lot of people that are like, oh, you know, Zach LaVine is injury prone. Like, what is injury prone to people? Zach LaVine played 77 games last year, which is more than like half the stars in the league the last few years. He's played around like 65 games every year for the last like 6 seasons or whatever. I see people want, like, I see a lot of people that are like, I want DeJounte Murray over Zach LaVine. And I ask why, and they'll be like, because Zach LaVine is injury prone. Go look up how many games Zach LaVine has played the last 5 years and how many games DeJounte Murray's played the last 5 years. Zach LaVine played more games last season than DeJounte Murray. Zach LaVine played, I believe, 2 more games than Murray the previous year. Or maybe Murray played 2 more games or whatever. But like, if you look year in and year out, their games played are nearly identical. But one has this stigma of being injury prone and the other doesn't. Like, that's what I don't understand. And like, look, I understand he's had a couple injuries with Chicago. How much of that is just they're going to trade him and they don't want him to get really hurt, right? Like there's the talk like now he has like a shoulder injury and they're like keeping him back or whatever. And it's like I like, oh, that just randomly happened, like, or is that an excuse to not have to play him, right? Because a trade is getting done. I don't know. Again, it could just be my tinfoil hat, but I feel like, look, is he a $40 million a year player? I don't think so. If he was like $30 million, I think that's probably his value. I think he's around $30 million. But again, if he was $30 million, he probably wouldn't be obtainable. One of the reasons he's obtainable for the Lakers is because he's $40 million, right? Like if the Lakers were in a position to go and trade for other things, like then I would say do that. But it's about like what is realistic, what is actually available, what is actually obtainable, right? Like even Murray, I don't think he's realistically obtainable. The Lakers have 1 first-round pick and a pick swap. And there was a report today that teams aren't interested or aren't calling for any of our players, right? So again, it's like, would I rather have Donovan Mitchell? Of course. But are we realistically able to trade for him? No, probably not. Right? Unless, the Cavs just bumped their head or something that day. Right? Even if we gave up Reeves. Like it just, unless for whatever reason Cleveland thinks Reeves is a star and Rui is the next star. Like it's just it's about what's realistic is the point. Like so many people are like, why are you so high on LaVine? It's because he's obtainable. The Lakers can realistically get him. Is there other guys that I think would be better? Of course. But that doesn't mean that we can get them. And that also doesn't mean that they're available. Who's available? Who can we get? 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. If, maybe we could go get, if we wait a year, right? Maybe we can get, Luka. I don't know. Like, we've done that. How many times have the Lakers waited for somebody and that guy never comes, right? Go get the guy you can get right now that can change the season. I think he does it. Andrew, coming out with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Tyler, spot on. And they think he's only a dunker. They don't have a clue. He's almost too good to be true. He's an incredible player. And fit with LeBron and AD. I think he fits seamlessly with LeBron and AD. Seamlessly. I do. I understand some people's concerns. Like I understand the injury concerns. Again, I think people blow that out of proportion, right? If he's playing 70 games a season, that's more than pretty much. Name me a guy outside of Mikal Bridges that plays 82 games anymore. That's not end of the bench guy. The years of stars playing 82 games a season, they just don't exist anymore, right? I mean, Joel Embiid is more injury prone than LaVine is. Would you trade for Embiid right now? Of course you would, right? No, I'm not saying that Zach LaVine is better than LaVine, but still, I'm saying like, if we only look at injury, then, I mean, Giannis has been injured in the playoffs the last few years. Are we not? If we could trade Giannis right now, would you? Of course you would, right? If we could, Kyrie. Everyone wanted Kyrie Irving. Right? Kyrie's missed more games than LaVine has the last 5 years, but everyone was on board with Kyrie. Right? It's like, if we could go get Kyrie right now, everyone would be preaching for it. My thing, again, I say it all the time. If you only look at injury history, no one would ever do anything. Right? Like, the Lakers never would have traded for Anthony Davis because he had injury history before he came to the Lakers. We traded for him. He gave us a championship. Right? Again, like, is he obtainable? Yes. Does he fit seamlessly? Does he fill a need that the Lakers desperately have? Yes. Are there better options out there? Yes. Are those options obtainable? Probably not. Right? Again, it's just, What's realistic? And what are the other options? What are the other options out there that really change it? I mean, could you go and do like 5 small trades? Sure. And look, if the Lakers do that, I'm not going to be against it, right? Like if the Lakers, let's say the Lakers got, I don't know, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Terry Rozier or something like that. Like I think that helps a lot, right? I think that fixes a lot of our issues. But I don't know. Give me the guy that has a history and track record and is proven at the thing that the Lakers desperately need, which is scoring. Zach LaVine, you can think whatever you want of him. He's not. He's one thing he is great at is scoring the basketball. He is a bona fide scorer. He is a bucket. Get me the bucket. My issue with the concerns are the fact that they're mainly the reasons we can obtain him. Injury is a cop-out excuse. They're afraid because of Russ. Yeah, look, again, I understand the concerns. I just don't think that I think the pros outweigh the cons. Again, I don't think the injury argument is a great argument. Last few years, he's been fine. He hasn't been heavily injured. He's also not going to have to play the role that he's played the last few years, right? He's not going to have as much of a workload. He's not going to have to, trudge through it game in and game out, right? And as long as he's healthy for the playoffs, that's all you really need, right? Year in and year out. But I mean, outside of that, like the Russ, I see people all the time like, oh, it's another Russ situation. Like, no, it's not. It's not even close to that. For one, he fits. 2, it should work. But people are always like, well, what if it doesn't work? Like, then it doesn't work. You could say that you could have traded for Anthony Davis and argued, like, what if it doesn't? What if him and LeBron can't work? Like, on the surface, it seemed like a match made in heaven. But you never know until it happens. I mean, I can make the counter argument. What if it does work and the Lakers win a championship? Are you going to be like, man, we shouldn't have traded for Zach LaVine? No, you're going to be like, dude, Rob Pelinka's the best. Just traded for Zach LaVine. Again, I just don't think any of the arguments for it are valid arguments. And like you said, the concerns are the reason we can get him. That's exactly why. Why are we in a position to actually get Zach LaVine? Because he's making $40 million a year. He has a stigma behind him of being injured, right? Even though, again, like you said, he's played 70 games the last few years, 65 to 70 games the last few years, right? And he's known as just a bucket getter, right? Glorified bucket getter, whatever you want to call it. All of those things are why we can get him. And all those things are, the bucket getters is a need. So we don't have the luxury to not be risky all in. Yeah, exactly. Again, if we didn't have LeBron, then I'd say, wait, be patient. But you have LeBron. LeBron is playing unbelievable. You owe it to LeBron. You owe it to the way that AD's playing. You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. All right? You're in a position, go for it. It's obtainable. Like I said, 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Go get the guy that is obtainable. Get him, right? I see a lot of people that are like, oh, but you wanted DeMar DeRozan. Now all of a sudden you want Zach LaVine? Yeah, because I thought DeMar DeRozan was realistic. It doesn't appear. Now we have new information, right? At the time, the rumor was Chicago is probably going to blow it up. They're looking to trade Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. So my thinking was, okay, go get DeMar DeRozan. He's not as good of a three-point shooter. I mean, he still stretches the floor. He can still knock down the shots. He provides a lot of what the Lakers need, but you can also get other pieces. And look, if DeMar DeRozan does become available, then fine. Then I'm okay with them going after DeMar DeRozan. But we have new information now. And the new information is that Chicago doesn't want to trade DeMar DeRozan. That DeMar DeRozan wants to re-sign with Chicago. He has said it publicly, 3 times now? The owner has said it publicly that they want to keep him. And now the word is that they want to get whatever they can for Zach LaVine, take a look at the roster, and then make the decision accordingly this offseason. So what are we going to do? We're going to wait around for somebody else? And then if that person doesn't come, then what? Now what? We just threw away the season? So my thing is like, go get the guy that's attainable. Go get the guy that you can realistically get. LaVine is a flamethrower with that 44% catch and shoot, especially when he's hot. There's no stopping Bron and AD, let alone getting LaVine added to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude, again, what, like, I'm not I'm speaking generally. I don't want it to sound like I'm directing it at you. Speaking generally, right? Watch the games. Watch how teams defend Austin Reeves. They are totally okay with letting Reeves take wide open threes, and they are totally okay with him going one-on-one. They would rather pack the paint and force those the other guys to beat you. You can't do that with Zach LaVine. You can't. Because guess what? Zach LaVine will torch you. Zach LaVine will drop 50. The way teams are looking at it is like, hey, if Austin Reeves drops 50 and beats us, so be it. Guess what? It has never happened. So we'll take our chances that it won't ever happen. Zach LaVine has a 50-point game this season. He has multiple 50-point games on his resume. This is a guy that absolutely will beat you. This is a guy that if you let him go one-on-one the entire game, he will average 30 a game. But you look at teams like Chicago and Minnesota and these places that he's been, teams double team him. Teams will, when he's hot and he's on and he's cooking, teams adjust their defense to try to slow him down, right? When he's on Chicago, him and DeMar DeRozan, right? Teams just kind of throw the kitchen sink at those two, right? They try to defend those two and throw the double team and do all that stuff. How do you do that when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis down low? Anthony Davis is dominating teams. Everybody. He's dominating teams with teams packing the paint. Literally, teams' entire defensive schemes is to slow down Anthony Davis, and he is still dropping 30 to 40 on a regular basis. Imagine if teams can't do that. Anthony Davis will average 30 a game easily. Like, it opens up so much more. So much more. It opens it up for AD. It opens it up for LeBron, the floor spacing, just everything. LaVine is so underrated. I don't think people realize how good he is offensively. I don't think they do either. But the thing is, to some people's credit, most people know the Lakers and that's it, right? Don't get me wrong, most people know names and players and stuff, but they don't know like the ins and outs. Most people are looking at Zach LaVine and going, well, he didn't do anything with Minnesota. He didn't do anything with Chicago, right? So how do I know he's going to do anything with the Lakers? But they're not looking at the full package. Like, they don't understand the ins and outs of, one, how the game works, and two, like, what his role would be on this team and how it would maximize what he's doing. Every time a player not named Malik Beasley comes to the Lakers, like, outside of the shooting-wise, comes to the Lakers, they usually have their most efficient season because you're playing along. Like, Taurean Prince is having the most efficient season of his career. Rui Hachimura was considered a scrub, came in and was excellent for the Lakers last season, right? Austin Reeves emerges, right? Because he has LeBron James and Anthony Davis distracting all the attention, right? Like, it's just, it opens up so much. And then to have a guy like Zach LaVine who can play off the ball, he can play on the ball. We don't have really that isolation scorer. Outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and neither of them are great. Like, AD's been better this year, but LeBron is either hot and cold with the over-the-top shooting and stuff like that, right? To have a guy, we don't have anyone else that can generate that stuff. Zach LaVine can. Zach LaVine, you can just give the ball to, and he can just go get you a bucket effortlessly. He has the athleticism to blow by. He applies rim pressure. He can get to the foul line. He can, pull back or step back, right? He can pull up in the mid-range, knock down the three ball, in transition, step into a three, in transition, step into a midi, right? He can be explosive. He can go one-on-one and isolate. He can shoot over the top of the defender. He can blow by the defender. I mean, name me somebody on this team that can do that. Zach LaVine would be our best natural scorer. If we traded for Zach LaVine, he would be our best natural scorer. Look, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are both very capable of scoring the basketball. Zach LaVine is a better natural scorer because he can shoot at all three levels super efficiently, super effectively. He has the explosiveness as a one-on-one player. The guy drops 30-plus games regularly when he's like the main offensive weapon. Like, imagine him as a third option. Again, I'm not saying he's better than LeBron and AD. There's a difference between natural scorer and just overall player. There's no doubt Anthony Davis and LeBron James are the better players. But if you're talking about just a guy to get a bucket, there's very few guys like Zach LaVine in this league that can just score at that elite of a level. You're not talking about like a Malik Monk here, right? And people love Malik Monk. Imagine how people are going to feel when we get Zach LaVine and he's dropping 30 every other game. Bron and AD are speaking with their performance every night. They're telling us if we're going to get the necessary pieces, they will win it this year all in time. I'm right there with you. If the Lakers make the right moves, the Lakers will win the championship. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are playing good enough to win a championship. They absolutely are. We just need the core to the supporting cast. That's the word I was looking for. We just need the supporting cast to pick it up and do the same thing. We need other pieces to be able to step up and step into a spot, step into a role, and perform to the level that we know, or to the level to complement LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's what we need. The Lakers can do that. They can win. Right? Lakers are competing on a regular basis with pretty much LeBron James and Anthony Davis accounting for 50% of the points. Points, rebounds, and assists. Right? Imagine if you got another guy that could help that. It'd be perfect. It would be absolutely perfect. So, I don't know. Fingers crossed. Let's see. I wouldn't mind. Like, I don't hate. Like, if you could get Murray, Brogdon, and, like, Capella, I wouldn't hate that. I don't think that they would be able to, but I wouldn't hate it. I'd honestly do Jeremy Grant and Malcolm Brogdon over LaVine. Both guys 40% on catch shoot. Aren't they, like, collectively, they're making, like, $50 million, though, aren't they? So you'd have to trade more to get them than LaVine. Look, I don't hate the idea of Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's injury prone, though. Malcolm Brogdon is up there. Like, if that was like a plan B, I wouldn't hate it, but not something I would be like super stoked for. Plus Jeremy Grant's contract, like, how is he as like a third guy? Lakers tried to trade for him when he was in Detroit, and he said something like, I don't want to be a third guy or something like that. Except D'Lo hasn't played that much in those 2 games yet. Well, I'm assuming that was somebody else. Dogfight from start to finish. That's it. Yep. I love it. And we still win. Yeah. They shot excellent this game. They were basically trading two for threes. Let's see. I'm not high on LaVine at all. Why? I'm telling you, when LaVine comes to the Lakers and he plays great, I can't wait to do a live stream. Everyone's like, all right, you were right. Like, I'm waiting for that moment. And look, if I'm wrong, if the Lakers do it and I'm wrong, I'll be right here. And I will listen to everyone tell me how I was wrong. But I can already see the live stream where everyone's like, damn, you're right. And look, it might take a couple games. I'm not saying LaVine's going to come in day one and go off for 40, right? But I think once he gets into a flow, once he kind of gets his fit down and has that understanding of like, okay, this is the role I'm playing, I'm telling you, I can already see the live stream where people go, oh, you know what? You were right. I'm waiting for that. D'Lo is an extra ball handler with a decent 3-point shot, about for $17 million a year, and the inconsistency he can go. Like I said, they're probably going to end up trading him, but Reeves for Simons. I like Simons a lot. Simons is nice. I wouldn't mind getting Caruso back. LaVine would choke. What makes you think LaVine would choke? What indication would give you that? What has LaVine done that would make you think he would choke? Let's see. Oh, did I get another? Here we go. Andrew coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I don't think some realize how uniquely perfect of a fit LaVine is specifically for the Lakers and maybe Miami. His value it more than meets the eye. Yeah, I think as an individual player, is he worth $40 million? No, because he is a very specific type of player. There's very few teams in the league that need Zach LaVine because most teams already have that guy. Like, look at all the top teams in the league. They all have that elite go-to scorer, right? The one team that doesn't is the Lakers. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are that. But Anthony Davis needs setup. And LeBron James, his shooting is just hot and cold at times. He's been much better this year, don't get me wrong. But even still, like there's times where you're just like, oh, like LeBron's more of like, let me put my head down and just get to the basket. Right? That's the difference. And I look at it as like, if you can go get Zach LaVine, I just think the fit is seamless because he has the ability to play off the ball. He can play on the ball. He can basically do everything. And there's very few guys in the league that can do it as efficiently and effectively as he can. And he would be the third option. That's the thing I don't think. Like, Zach LaVine as your number one guy, you're not winning anything. Zach LaVine as your number two guy, you're probably not winning anything. Zach LaVine might be one of the best third options in the league for what he does. Because usually your third option, you need to be Zach LaVine, consistent go-to, just dominant scorer, or a guy that's just like super elite 3-and-D shooter, right? That's usually what you want the third guy to be, right? Zach LaVine fits that perfectly. And, his ability, and there are very few guys that would fit as perfectly with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Even DeJounte Murray. Talk about DeJounte Murray. His biggest problem in Atlanta is playing off the ball. What do you think he's going to be doing with the Lakers? Playing off the ball, right? Siakam, same thing, right? Like, who's a guy that you could think of? Like, LaVine at least has played second option, right? To where so now he just needs to make a slight adjustment, right? Even a guy like a Donovan Mitchell or something like that, to go from like a number one option everywhere you're at to like the number three option, it takes time to figure out that balance. And you have to be willing to make that sacrifice. Zach LaVine would be basically going from number two option to number three option. It's not as big of a gap, as big of a fit. And the Lakers he'd probably be the number two option on most nights, right? Because he'd probably be the guy that just gets to go and, hey, LaVine, go drop 30, go enjoy it, have fun. Because that's what the Lakers need. They need somebody that can just go get a bucket. There's very few guys that I can think of that would be just a seamless fit. Obviously, like basically any elite scorer, like Kevin Durant, I think would be perfect, right? Steph would be perfect. But like, outside of a superstar, right? Who would it be? Like Kyrie? Well, I mean, Kyrie's a superstar, but you get my point. Like, he's not like a top 10 guy or whatever, right? Like, again, like who's a guy that would fit so seamlessly, right? Zach LaVine is one of them. So that's what I lean for. I'm right there with you. But let's see. All right, let's power through a couple more questions here. LaVine is extremely injury prone with a massive price tag. Again, what is injury prone to you? Because only missing 5 games a year, is that injury prone? Miss 10 games a year, is that injury prone? No answer. LOL, finally seeing you in a live. Let's go. 3 more games and we'll be back to at least 6, 7. So yeah, that's what we need. First off, glad you were able to make a live stream. I appreciate you. Secondly, yes, we gotta rattle off some wins here. I'll take the win. I love it. Got to rattle off some wins. I love D'Lo's energy today. He wasn't backing down. Yes, agreed. Look, D'Lo's been solid for us. LaVine has no trade value for a reason. Yeah, but that's also one. Okay. Now I'll just answer this generally because I was going to say, why do you think he doesn't have trade value? But I see this question a lot. Okay, one, what team needs a guy like Zach LaVine? Because again, like, Zach LaVine is a very specific player. What team besides the Lakers and maybe Miami need a guy like Zach LaVine? Because value is based on need and necessity, right? Like, how many teams need Zach LaVine? Okay, let's say you can name 5 that you think need Zach LaVine. Okay, 2, how many have the assets to go and the salaries to go and trade for LaVine without blowing up their roster? Right? Like, again, there's more to value than, like, people just look and go, oh, well, all these teams want, like, some superstars could be available. Like, it doesn't mean that it makes sense to go get them, right? Like, there's stars that become available and teams just don't even look at them, right? Like, teams avoid them, stay away from them because it's like, we don't have that. Damian Lillard became available and he had a limited market. There was only like 3 teams that actually were trying to push for him, So does he not have a market? Right? Again, it's about like what are the needs, right? Most teams already had guys. Most guys have scoring, right? Value is based on what is my need and necessity, and is it reasonable and obtainable? Um, Tyler, can you scroll down and respond to FYF? I was trying to find the uh, FYF. All right, here. Actually, instead of doing that, here, let me just pull it up. I'll pull it up on the on my phone, and then I can just. All right. Let's see. The Lakers need. I'm assuming it's this first one. FYF Sports Debates. Which, first off, thank you for popping in. The Lakers need a lot of things. Zach LaVine maybe solves one problem and would create 3 or 4 more flaws. Zero cap flexibility would essentially look like the Phoenix Suns. So, a couple things. One, Zach LaVine solves more than just one problem. Not only does he solve the scoring issue, which is like 70% of the Lakers' issues right now, right? Lakers have basically, for the most part, they dropped tremendously as far as defense goes the last like handful of games. But for the most part, they've been a top 10 defense. They have all season been a bottom 5 offense. Zach LaVine by himself would put them top 17 probably, at least, if not more. Not to mention the consistency that he provides. Lakers don't have any rim pressure. Don't have any athleticism in the guard position, right? I don't know what other flaws would be created, right? I'm assuming you mean zero cap flexibility. The Lakers have zero cap flexibility regardless. The Lakers are already over the first apron. Almost all of their players are signed for the next 3 to 4 years anyway. So they don't have any. It's not like they have a bunch of cap flexibility. Do they have more tradable like players? Sure. But if Zach LaVine solves all of your offensive woes, then you're fine. Like you're getting vet minimum guys anyway. Like Zach LaVine's contract is, assuming it works, right? Then, like, I don't know what cap flexibility issues they would have. Because again, you're locked into your guys anyway. You're gonna be 8 deep anyway, right? Because okay, let's say you trade Rui, D'Lo, Gabe Vincent for just Zach LaVine, right? You'd still have Zach LaVine, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, Max Christie. There's 7. Christian Wood. Okay, let's see if if he ends up picking up that other option or not. We'll see. If the Lakers win, he might. Right? So you're basically 8 guys deep. Once you get to the Pelicans' decision, now all of a sudden draft picks start opening up. You're comparing them to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, not even about cap flexibility, right? It's about not having tradable assets and contracts and not having draft picks to leverage. The Lakers would have draft picks to leverage in the next year. They would have Jared Vanderbilt's contract still, right? And then whatever other little minimal contracts or whatever that they sign up, right? They go over the cap to re-sign some guys. I don't see the cap flexibility being an issue. Again, like they have again their roster right now. They have cap issues. They have zero cap flexibility right now anyway, right? Because unless LeBron takes a $5 million contract, it doesn't change anything. It literally doesn't change anything. So I don't think I've seen people throw out the cap flexibility issue, but it doesn't. Again, the Lakers are over the cap regardless. They're over the cap regardless. So yeah, that's the thing. But all right. Next up. Let's see. Oh, that's the Waja. Zach LaVine has been better than career. Like I said, I mentioned it earlier. Zach LaVine has been better than league average defensively for his career. League average is like a 115. He's like a 114. I think he's 114 on the dot. Oh man, Team USA LaVine was elite defensive. We get Team USA LaVine defensively, we'll be number 1 defense and offense. What else? Sorry, trying to find something to me. Do you think the Lakers should trade salaries in a second for Gary Trent Jr.? I would love Gary Trent Jr. I've wanted Gary Trent Jr. the last like 5 years. But Lakers almost traded for him, what, 2 years ago? 2 or 3 years ago? In like a THT 3-team trade. But then the Knicks got greedy. But yeah, I look, I would love, like, if that was like, if you can't get like LaVine or things like that, and you could like, and you had to go and like piece things together, I think Gary Trent would be perfect. I love Gary Trent. Gary Trent would be fantastic. I would love Gary Trent. I like the LaVine trade, but I really fear the Lakers shot curse because that would be our doom. But on the other side, whether it is theirs or the Hawks one, our ceiling is winning it all. Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument about anybody, though. You know, like you go get Donovan Mitchell and like, oh, the Lakers shot curse. Like, again, I'm not saying you shouldn't weigh all sides. I'm not saying you shouldn't look at all elements, right? Especially Rob Pelinka. It's his job as a GM. He needs to weigh the pros and cons. I just think that all of the pros outweigh the cons. I do. Andrew, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Players like LaVine thrive with LeBron. Also, you can respond FYF's earlier comment to make a case against LaVine. I want to hear your thoughts on it. He had another one before that. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Even if the Lakers wanted LaVine, you would have to convince me they want anything the Lakers have on their roster. Are you talking about that one? The one where they have anything that they want on the roster? Well, a couple things. One, they want to just get LaVine off the contracts. Again, supply and demand is a real thing. There are more to trade. Like, so people just look at trades solely on the player and the return, right? There is 100 reasons why team make trades. What did we hear all season last year about Russell Westbrook? Oh, it'll take 1 first just to trade for Russ, and then that's not counting even getting players. And there's no way they did. But at the end of the day, what happened? The Lakers traded Russell Westbrook and got back 3 key players that were very impactful, helped lead us to the Western Conference Finals. Because again, there's multiple reasons. The Bulls need to get off of LaVine. They are very limited on the market. I mean, reports keep coming out that no one wants LaVine in his contract. Because again, how many teams need him? It's about supply and demand. And when you're in a position to where you need to get rid of somebody, he's on a 40, but again, all the reasons why Zach LaVine doesn't have a market is why the Lakers and he is obtainable. Right? If Zach LaVine was on a $25 million a year deal, there's plenty of teams that might take a chance on him or take a flyer or whatever. And the more competition there is, the least likely it is to get Zach LaVine, right? Not just that, but there's plenty of guys, right? If they get Rui Hachimura, would immediately be their starting 4. Right now, who's their starting 4? They're running Williams, and Williams is a 3. He's not even a 4, right? So, like, Rui would be a great option. Not to mention the cap. FYF mentioned earlier about cap flexibility, right? Well, what's more flexible? If you get rid of LaVine's contract and have a guy like Rui Hachimura, and if you end up letting DeMar go, and now you basically can just revamp everything, or if you keep Zach LaVine and you can't trade him, and now you got to write his contract for 4 years. And what happens if the Lakers do something else? Right? What happens if the Lakers aren't in a position to trade for Zach LaVine later? What? Now you're just stuck with him? Again, there's 100 reasons why teams go and trade for players. Trade for pieces. Cheyenne, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I don't see any comment that you have. I don't know if you were trying to leave something and it just didn't come through or what. But I'll keep an eye out, and if you just leave it in the chat, I'll respond to it. So thank you so much. If you were just supporting and you're just looking out. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much. But if you have like something specific you want to say, I'll keep an eye out on the chat so I can respond to it. But again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. And it's your first one. So welcome. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. He has 2 or 3, part 1 or 2 before that one. It's the comment where he says Zach wouldn't fit. Oh, okay. Here, let me try to find it real quick. Sorry, there's a lot of comments. Let's see. I see one where he says Lakers are a high pick and roll dominant and can't defend, and he would give you 18 to 20 points with no defense. I mean, 18 to 20 points is more than like the 3 guys we would trade for him combined. So I would take that. I'm assuming it means this one. Zach LaVine wouldn't work with the Lakers because of LeBron and AD's play style. Every third option under his success, Braun team needs to be a defensive corner 3 specialist. Well, I mean, Zach LaVine, for one, shoots 45% from 3. 2, LeBron James is also in a different stage of his career entirely, right? LeBron, he's been more picking and choosing his spots. Like, look at this game. He had 4 points midway through the second or whatever it was. So, 1, Zach LaVine would probably be the second option. 2, there'd be plenty of shots for Zach LaVine. 3, the offense that the Lakers run doesn't work because we don't have a guy like Zach LaVine. Like, he says earlier that there's a lot of, they run a lot of pick and roll actions and sets, stuff like that. Well, I mean, most teams do. But all of the sets in which they don't run pick and roll don't really work because we don't have anybody that can just go get you a bucket and shoot 45% on catch and shoot threes and stuff like that like Zach LaVine does. I see a lot of arguments of people where they talk about, the field goal attempts, right? People are concerned, like, where is Zach LaVine's shot attempts coming from? Zach LaVine, even in a down year, is shooting a better percentage than basically the 3 guys that we would trade for him. So remove Gabe Vincent from the equation, right? Because Gabe Vincent's played 5 games this year, right? Just Rui and D'Lo alone are averaging 22 attempts per game combined, right? Zach LaVine is averaging just under 18 attempts per game. So Zach LaVine could take technically 4 more attempts per game and is more efficient, better shooter, and more elite scoring than both of them combined. So you get more efficiency, better production, better everything. People always talk about, LaVine's defense. Again, 1, the Lakers haven't had a problem defensively this year. I mean, they have this last stretch, but more so over the season, they've been fine defensively. Top 7 to 10 pretty much all year. Secondly, outside of Anthony Davis, Jared Vanderbilt, and Cam Reddish, who has been good defensively? At least Zach LaVine, FYF said in another comment, Zach LaVine would only give you 18 to 20 a game. Who is doing that? Who on this Lakers team is giving you 18 to 20? Reeves regularly giving you, he has stretches. He'll have a 3 or 4 game stretch where he'll give you an average 20, but he's not giving you that game in and game out, right? So if LaVine came in, let's say LaVine even on the Bulls this year has been slightly better defensively than both Reeves and Taurean Prince. So let's say he's just as good as Reeves and Taurean Prince defensively with the Bulls. You don't think he'd be even slightly better with the Lakers? Slightly better? Let's say he isn't. If he's giving us 20 a game, who else is giving? That's more than D'Lo and Rui combined almost. If he gave us 20 points a game, that would be seamless. Seamless. So you don't have to worry about the shot attempts because you're basically just swapping multiple guys for LaVine. Shot attempts, but technically LaVine could take more shots. 2, the efficiency would go up. So he talks about, you got to look at LeBron and his big threes, right? One guy always ends up relegating to a 3-point shooter. Well, they basically turned the big men into the 3-point shooters, right? Which won't happen to Anthony Davis. Because one, LeBron's in a different stage of his career. Two, Anthony Davis is better than both Chris Bosh and Kevin Love. So that's not going to happen. Also, a lot of AD's shots and attempts are mid-range anyway. So, and even that like elbow. But the whole point is to have an elite, efficient three-point shooter. Somebody that can play off the ball because they're the third option. Well, Zach LaVine's 45% on catch and shoot threes. And that's not playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's playing alongside like, Karl Anthony Towns and DeMar DeRozan. Right? Imagine playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Imagine the catch and shoots he'd get playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Right? Like, again, I've yet to hear a good argument why Zach LaVine doesn't make sense. Again, the whole argument is, he would only average 18 to 20 points per game. How much do you want a third option to score? Like, seriously, 18 to 20 points a game? I would, man, if Reeves could average 18 to 20 points a game, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. We wouldn't need to trade for Zach LaVine. And we would be in great shape if that was the case. So, I don't know. I have yet to hear a convincing argument why LaVine shouldn't be a Laker. Bro, if LaVine gives us 18 to 20 points per game spacing, that's all we need. The Sporting Cast isn't even capable of that. And LaVine and Zach can take over any game. Exactly. Dude, if he averaged 18 to 20 points per game, and like that's not counting the games where he goes off for 30, goes off for 40 in a game, or he just catches fire, which playing alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis could be like regularly. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't understand how you can make an argument against Zach LaVine, but in the same breath say he's going to average 18 to 20 points per game. It doesn't add up to me. I don't know. I'm in tears. The arguments show he's the one. That's what I'm saying. None of the I have yet to see a compelling, convincing argument that we shouldn't get Zach LaVine. Again, I am open to it. I would love to hear somebody really break down this. This is why we shouldn't get, or I don't like the idea of Zach LaVine, and here's why. I would love that. Genuinely. I would love for somebody to give me a real convincing, compelling argument. I just have yet to hear one. All the arguments that people make are always the same thing, and it's not like there's an answer for all of them, right? Is there a potential that Zach LaVine doesn't work? Sure. There was a potential that Anthony Davis didn't work with LeBron. There was a potential that LeBron never worked with the Lakers. There's always a potential with everything, right? You never know until, it's no longer an idea or it's no longer paper. But I trust the situation. I mean, what are the other options? Again, what are the other options? It's not like teams are lining up to trade superstars to the Lakers. So, like I mentioned earlier, one in the hand is worth two in the bush. Go get the guy that makes sense, that fits, and would work. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. Call me crazy. But, again, look, first off, we got to see if the Lakers even trade for Zach LaVine. I think they will. And if they do, we'll see. One of us is going to be right. Either the people that say it's stupid and it's going to cripple us, either they'll be right, or people like myself that are like, no, it's going to be great. We'll be right. There's going to be somebody's going to be right. But first off, we got to see if the Lakers actually end up trading for Zach LaVine, for one. And then two, we got to see how it all plays out and works out. Again, don't expect him to just come in immediately and be 30 a game. I mean, I'd love it. I wouldn't be shocked. But there is going to be an adjustment filling out period. But I think after like a handful of games or so, I think they're going to be running off like game busters. All right, let me power through a couple more of these, and I'm going to skeet on out here. I've been going almost 2 hours. If we keep Reeves, our offense would be elite, though. I think it would be, definitely. But, again, it would just be an adjustment period for everybody, which is fine. Let's see. Reeves focuses more on golfing than basketball. Let's talk about the dominance from Anthony Davis this season. He's a standard two-way X. Dude, Anthony Davis has been just chef kiss this year. I've made videos diving into Anthony Davis and really hyping him up. Like, he deserves it. Skylar Mays has like really good potential. He's a very solid, as like your third point guard, maybe even your backup in a minimal role. I think he could make a big impact. Big impact. Let's see. Trading the whole roster is not the answer. We need 3 to 4 players to help us get over the hump. Chemistry is a really important factor. Yeah, but it's not like this team has a bunch of chemistry and are fitting so well. Do you still want to trade or no? Absolutely, I still want to trade. Absolutely. Get that trade immediately. We need Zach. I am right there with you. We need Zach. Nick Richards would be nice. I wouldn't mind that alongside Christian Wood. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Nick Richards. LeBronto, you switch back. Grant and Malcolm trade. I wouldn't mind that as like a plan B. Let's see. AR needs a new scenario anyways. We trade him and he will become the most improved player, 40% from 3 defensive selection in All-Star periods. That's probably exactly what will happen. It's usually how it goes. Right. Guys get traded and all of a sudden become amazing. Trade for Dennis and Pascal. I really don't think Pascal fits. I really don't. Trade 1, LaVine, Caruso, and Drummond. Trade 2, DeJounte, Bogdanovich, and Capella. Trade 3, Malcolm Brogdon and Jeremy Grant. Trade 4, Gary Trent, Dennis, and Jakob Poeltl. Out of all of those, I definitely like trade 1. You give me LaVine, elite scorer, elite 3 and D, and then you give me a excellent backup, arguably best backup big in the league. I do like that. Next up, I would probably say Atlanta. If you could get DeJounte, Bogdanovich, and Capella, it's pretty good, right? That would be hard to say no to. Yeah, I'd probably like it in that order. The order you have it, I'd probably take it in that order. Yeah, LaVine. Yeah, the LaVine trade, DeJounte, Brogdon, and Grant. Yeah, probably do it in that order, personally. If AD doesn't make first defensive team, it's clear bias against him. Dude, if he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year this year and is an all on the all defensive team, I don't know. Like, there needs to be a protest. Why start Reeves, then D'Lo, start D'Lo, make Reeves 6 men? I think so too, but I mean, if you're going to trade D'Lo, it makes sense. Yes, no more shooters, please. They never work out in LA, which is why I just give me the bucket getter, right? Give me the guy that doesn't have to rely just solely on threes. Just give me that guy. TP is legit. Like I said, TP has been arguably our third most consistent player this season. We won. I'm happy. Tyler is also not sick. Good day. Yes, it is. It's an excellent day. Yeah, I'm feeling much better. Much better. Am I tripping, or what would a Laurie trade look like? I don't think the Lakers have enough to get Laurie Markkinen. But it would probably look something like, probably 2 quality players and 2 firsts minimum, I think. The biggest thing is that they don't have to trade. Like, they're not. The Utah isn't in a position where they have to trade Markkinen. So they could be patient and just wait for the right deal. What would it take to get Siakam on the squad, bro? He would fit perfectly. See, that's the thing. I don't think he will, because he'd be the third option. He's never been the third option. He'd have to play off ball heavily, which I don't know how good he would be off ball. He's also he also shoots 23 or 29% from 3 this season. I like Gary Trent, I wouldn't mind. And my biggest concern is Siakam wants to be a free agent no matter where he goes, because he'd make more money on the open market. So I have a lot of concerns about Siakam. Andrew, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Wiggins pre-Golden State. what they're saying. Aaron Gordon pre-Denver. What did they say? Both have ties to LaVine. Going to a different team changes. Exactly. Dude, Wiggins was – you could have made an argument for Wiggins to win Finals MVP. Wiggins was arguably their best player not named Steph – or he wasn't arguably the best player not named Steph Curry. He was the best player not named Steph Curry, right? Fit is very important. People forget how important fit is and how significant fit is and how significant situation and environment is and all of that. It just there's a lot that goes into it. You know what I mean? Like and like I see a lot of people that are like, well, LaVine isn't a winning player. Like neither was Anthony Davis. Neither was LeBron before he went to Miami. Neither was, Shaq before Kobe, right? Like neither was, I mean, the list goes on and on, right? AD wasn't a winning player, right? What define winning? If Joel Embiid became available tomorrow, would you not trade for Joel Embiid if the Lakers realistically could? Of course you would, but he's not a winning player, right? Like again, it's just the arguments people make for why the Lakers shouldn't trade for Zach LaVine are more times than not just illogical. It's just people not understanding the full picture, right? Fit is a very important thing. And look, it is very possible. Maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like he says, just say you don't know who Zach LaVine is spot on. Too many casuals. Yeah. I get so many regular comments from people that just like, again, it's not even like concern. It's just they clearly don't know who Zach LaVine is. Like I get so many comments that are like, well, Zach LaVine isn't a good shooter. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's literally what he's built. Like, you really think he just got $40 million because he won a slam dunk contest? Right? Like, why do people think Zach LaVine got paid? Right? Like, again, it's just, I don't know. Believe me, it frustrates me. He's one of the most versatile. He's one of the most versatile dynamic scorers in the league, hands down. When he's on, there's very few guys that can score the way he does. Buddy Hield would be great as a Laker. I wouldn't mind Buddy Hield in the Laker. Let's see. Oh, I was waiting for it. I was like, man, there's got to be somebody that's talking about discrepancy. Yeah, let's just ignore all the other times that the opposite has happened with the Lakers and their, aggressiveness. Y'all don't understand. Atlanta's not the answer. Murray simply does not where the ceiling is for LaVine. I assure you, 38% from three from Murray will drop off by 30%. Dude, he's a 34% career three-point shooter. What's more likely? That he's going to drop back to his career average or that he's going to continue to shoot 38%? And again, his biggest problem is playing off the ball. He can't play off the ball. And what is he going to have to do playing alongside LeBron James? Play off the ball. Like, that's the one thing I haven't heard any other faces that have made the argument for DeJounte Murray. Like, I always hear the good stuff. I never hear the cons, right? Like, and the biggest one, which is like his off ball, being able to play off ball. I think the majority only know him from the dunk cuts. I think that's what it is. I really do. I think people have just heard the name and think like, oh, that's what it is. Like, that must be who he is, right? Like, oh, why would Chicago want to trade him if he was so great? Why would, whatever, right? Like, okay, like why did Portland trade Damian Lillard? Circumstances, right? Most people only look at trades as black and white. Many people think like, oh, this player was traded for this player. So, oh, this team got fleeced or this team didn't. But they don't look at all the other circumstances. They don't look at like, oh, this team just cleared up a bunch of salary. Oh, this team just got a bunch of assets. Oh, this team just got this, X, Y, and Z, right? People always look at just the surface, or they think it's just one for one. Not everything is one for one. Let's see. Well, ask yourself why nobody wants to to trade for LaVine, even with all the things you mentioned. I talked about it. Again, how many teams need Zach LaVine? On top of how many teams need Zach LaVine, how many teams have $40 million in salary to go and trade for Zach LaVine without just dismantling their entire roster? And how many teams would he make sense on? Where does he want to go? Like, there's so many factors that go into it. Like, outside of the Lakers, what other team really could use Zach LaVine? Like, outside of Lakers, what other team, like, do you look at and go, man, Zach LaVine would be great there? The only other team I can think of is Miami. That's it. All the other top teams have a guy like Zach LaVine. You know, Sacramento has De'Aaron Fox. Celtics have Tatum and Brown, right? Minnesota has Anthony Edwards, right? OKC has Shea, right? Who else am I missing? Sixers have Maxey, right? Like, again, like, how many teams need a guy like Zach LaVine? How many teams need a high-level efficient scorer, right? Because, look, Zach LaVine is very one-dimensional. Like, he's not an elite defensive guy. He's not a great playmaker, right? He has flaws. I'm not saying Zach LaVine is a top 5 player or any of that. I don't even think he's a top 25 player. But he's very good at the one thing that he's great at, which is scoring the basketball. What is one of the biggest things that the Lakers need right now? Scoring the basketball. They need that consistent go-to scorer. Zach LaVine is one of the best at that. It's how he built his career. That's why he got paid $40 million, because he's very good. He's elite at the one thing that he is best at. He is better than 90% of the league at the one thing that he is best at. They ignore the fact there was also in three-point contest. Yeah, very true. He was also in the three-point contest. I just think most people just don't. They don't like, which I get it. Most people they're fans of their team, fans of the players that are on their team. And unless it's something specific, well, then, you get my point. Like, it's just, people only know who they know, I love our core, but without a LaVine or DeRozan, we're looking at first round exit, time to roll the dice. Agreed. I'm right there with you, Adam. Right there with you, Adam. Good night. See you later. Appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for staying up, hanging out with us. Haven't you noticed how much zone teams are playing now? LaVine would help with that. LaVine by himself could break up a zone because he has the athleticism to blow by and just disrupt that zone, get into the teeth of the zone. He could shoot the 3 ball. Again, teams cannot defend the Lakers the way that they are right now. They just can't. They would not be able to defend the Lakers the way that they do right now if the Lakers had Zach LaVine. Drum dropped 24 and 25 2 weeks ago. Lethal versus small teams. Yeah, dude, Drummond, I really want the Lakers to get Drummond. I mean, obviously I want the Lakers to get Zach LaVine, but I really hope that they can convince them to trade Drummond also. Do what you got to do. Let's get it. I do Jeremy Grant as our third bucket getter, said as Zach LaVine. But the problem is Jeremy Grant isn't elite shoot. Like I do like him as like a 3-and-D option. I do think he'd be another very comparable third option, but sorry, I got a message just trying to make sure it was important. But he's not elite. I like his contract more than LaVine's, but I think he's overpaid also. So you're talking about like who would you rather have overpaid? I would rather have LaVine because at least he's elite in the one thing that we need. Why the hell did D'Lo only play 17 minutes? I think because they're about to trade him. I really do. I promise you, we are getting Zach or Rob is gonna pull magic out of it as it get done. I think something's coming. I really do. I think something is right around the corner. Like I said, I could be completely wrong, but I definitely do think it's coming. I wish you got LaVine and Laurie. That would be amazing. I do wish he made. I wish he made less than 30 million or 40 million also. But it's the one reason that he's obtainable. If he was making 25 million, then chances are there'd be a lot more competition for him. But it's not championship level. Needle mover, like I say. He's just not elite scoring. Like the reason like Jeremy Grant wouldn't be a bad plan B, right? Like if the Lakers for whatever reason couldn't get Zach LaVine, like let's say the Bulls just, let's say another team comes out of the woodworks and offers more and goes and gets Zach LaVine, right? Like I wouldn't like I don't think Jeremy Grant would be a bad like consolation prize, but I to me, give me the guy, give me the elite, give me the guy that can be elite. Um, Sorry, trying to find something. Me, LaVine versus Aaron Gordon in the Western Conference Finals would be dope. That would be dope. LeBron could take. I actually think LaVine, like I said, I think LaVine will probably be our second option on most nights. Zach isn't even healthy. Plus, Lakers need another ball handler, good at running at point. We'll see Reeves is not that guy. Relying on LeBron to be playmaking alone is hard, which turnover pile up. Which it's easier to solve somebody to come in and piece together playmaking in a minimum role. The Lakers just signed somebody in Mays. The Lakers will be fine in that department. I'm not worried about that. It's harder to find somebody that does what Zach LaVine does than to find somebody that can just play 10 minutes a game on ball. Zach LaVine can initiate the offense if you needed him to. He's done it before. Like, he would be fine. He does it a lot for Chicago. He'd be fine. Let's see. Go Lakers. I love it. Go Lakers. D'Lo, Rui, Reeves, for LaVine, Caruso, Drummond, then gave minimum contract Finney Smith. I would love that. That would be my dream. Oh, here we go. Thank you for awesome channel. Do you think we have any chance of acquiring Donovan Mitchell? Well, first off, thank you so much. I don't know why this didn't come up on my stream. Oh, you know what? It might have been on the other thing. Oh, I think I know why it didn't pop up. Sorry it took so long for me to get to your question. I saw the super chat again. I really appreciate that. Hopefully you're still here. Again, I greatly appreciate it. But personally, I don't. One, we have no indication that Donovan Mitchell is available. But two, like, Lakers only have one first and a pick swap. So unless for whatever reason the Cleveland Cavaliers look at Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura as like two stars in the making, I just don't see us being able to compete for Donovan Mitchell. I mean, a team like the Knicks who want Donovan Mitchell, and I know that the Knicks said that they're not going to go all in for Donovan Mitchell, they wouldn't have to, right? Like, they could trade 3 first and, a couple players and easily just outbid us. The issue is just the Lakers' assets. The Lakers don't have enough assets to go and make that work, make that happen. Look, if they did, I would be jumping for joy. I hope and pray that happens. Realistically, though, I don't see it happening. I just think that there's too much competition, and competition means likely no for the Lakers. But again, I really appreciate you, and I hope you're still here to hear my answer. If Wood can step up, Reeves works on his 3 ball a little bit, and Rui can stay healthy. They have a team and get the end footers up to speed and get a few minutes. I'm assuming you're basically just saying if everyone steps up, which, yeah, I would love that too. Oh, the 7 footers up to speed. Yeah, I mean, again, that would be great if that actually happened. Problem is that it hasn't happened yet. So, like, what's going to end up happening? Who does Chicago want from the Lakers? They want the Lakers to take LaVine and get off of his contract, but also Rui makes a ton of sense for them. Everyone else is just salary filler. You give him a young guy. Because besides us, no one needs a scorer, but everyone wants 3-and-D wins. Exactly. You're getting it. Let's see. Darn it, I just missed there it is. Okay. Chicago already said it's a non-starter without AR. Where did they say that? Show me that. They didn't say nothing. There were reports that said it. And everyone wants that. Then you don't trade. Then you tell them to go kick sand. We just need a reliable wing KCP style. Yeah. Problem is every team wants that. And again, competition equals nothing. A couple of 3-and-Ds and true point guard, nothing in between. Problem is we have a guy that has been one of the best usage point guards in the league this year, in D'Angelo Russell. He just doesn't get to play point guard. He just doesn't get the opportunity to actually do it. We need a little bit of everything. Backup point guard, elite scorer, actual 3-and-D wings that can defend, score a bit. Not what Cam and Van Oregon knows. I mean, yeah, we do. I mean, but every team has flaws. Every team has holes. Every team has issues, right? It's about getting to as close as possible. Get as close as possible to perfect. I would like LaVine idea if it wasn't for his contract. His contract to me isn't worth it. It just isn't worth that. I want other pieces. He's him by himself, isn't it? But if his impact is worth it, then it's worth it. Like if he comes in and the Lakers are game busters with him, and Lakers are a true contender once again, is anyone going to be like, oh man, but Zach LaVine makes $40 million? If the Lakers win a championship, is anyone going to be like, oh man, but Zach LaVine makes $40 million? I don't think so. But what if LeBron would need to be more playmaking than usual, because otherwise it'll just be another Suns type outlook. All three going to need to get touches, which again, he will. Again, I mean, Zach LaVine takes fewer shots than D'Lo and Rui combined. There will be plenty of shot attempts for him. And LeBron likes to let other guys get going early. LeBron's so good, he's going to go get his 20 just being on the court. Like, the last person I'm worried about scoring is LeBron, right? And this would let him kind of do that, just be the playmaker. I hope the Lakers aren't getting LaVine alone. We do need more than him still. Yeah, I hope. Like, I really want them to go get Andre Drummond also. I say the LaVine works. If LeBron runs the point guard, he'll just dish to Zach and all day. Yeah, AD all day. Yeah, which I believe he will. I think he'll end up playing that point guard role. 23 free throws in a quarter is nuts. Yeah, well, when you're aggressive, I'll take it. Next game, start D'Lo because Reeves played good off the bench. I have talked about how I want that. I wouldn't mind trading for Trae Young. I'm not a big fan of Trae Young. I'm with you, bro. I would put my money on LaVine trade. I agree. I think it's coming. Like I said, I could be wrong. God bless all. We'll take it. If you're a true basketball fan, you should call out the awful reffing of this game. You should have been here earlier. Literally everybody, all of us talked about it. But hey, we were due. We needed it. The commitment to the stream is appreciated. Well, thank you. I appreciate. I mean, I do it because everyone shows up. I'm very thankful for everyone handing out. And I mean, look, we've had like 80 people in the stream the entire time, minimum. We had like 200 earlier. I love it. Something happened to Wiggins personally and lost level one last night. Yeah, he had to step away for like personal things, and like he just hasn't been the same, which it sucks, man. And there were all kinds of like, I don't know what happened. There were all kinds of rumors and stuff, and it's his personal life. Let the guy go through what he's going through. What exactly is the proposed trade for Zach and D'Lo and Rui? For Zach, D'Lo and Rui. I mean, that's probably the starting, right? Question is like, what does it translate to? Is it going to be a 3-team deal? Is it going to be an individual deal? Is it going to be, is it just like straight up like, hey, you take LaVine, give us D'Lo, Rui, Gabe, and like a first? Like, I don't know. There's a dozen ways that they could go about it. It just depends on what it will be. What trade would you say, with a bit of confidence, will happen? The LaVine trade. I genuinely believe LaVine is going to be a Laker. Like, at this point, I would be surprised if it's not. Again, I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Again, just a guy. I just, like, if I had to put my money on any trade happening, it's Zach LaVine. I could see a smaller trade happening. Again, I mentioned it earlier, like, something like going and getting a Miles Bridges. Something like, I could see something like that happening just randomly, where it's like, oh, didn't see that coming. But I think if there's a big trade that happens, I think it's LaVine. I think two things happen. Either it's just a LaVine trade, and then like small pieces, like maybe an Andre Drummond, maybe, like I mentioned, a Miles Bridges or something like that, or the Lakers revamp the whole roster, and it'll be something like, they get a piece from this team, they get a piece from this team, they get a piece from this team. It'll be like a mix, or they'll get into like a 4-team. I think it'll be like 4 or 5 players, or it'll be just like Zach LaVine and like 2 minimum guys, something like that. That's kind of where I lean. But if I had to pick anything, it'd be the LaVine trade. I trust Zach with the ball much more than AR. I do too. I'm right there with you on that. 100%. 100%. Jeremy Grant is already a 23.3 point per game player. Yeah, but that's as the number one option, right? Like, at least LaVine is giving you 20 plus as like the number 2 option. I would love Donovan if it's possible too. I agree with you. Rui just bought a house in Encino, apparently. Probably. But I mean, a lot of NBA players own houses in LA and stuff. So whatever the Lakers decide to do on the trade market, they got to try their best to keep Wood, Max Prince. I am right there with you. All right. I think I'm going to get on out of here. We've been going a long time. I wanted to go at least 2 hours because I missed the last stream and wanted to catch up on some stuff. Just got off work, still live. You're awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Thank you for popping in. Thank you. Yeah, I know we've been going strong for 2 hours. 2 hours and 12 minutes, which I appreciate. But yeah, I'm gonna just get on here. I gotta start setting up for tomorrow's videos and all that stuff. Get all the work for bed. It's 12:30, so I'm gonna be up a while. So gotta get all that stuff done. But I appreciate you guys. Seriously, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for chilling. Everyone that gave me super chats, seriously, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. You have no idea how much it helps me. Hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel also does that. So take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't. You guys are awesome. I really do. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys in the next game. Let's keep the win streak going.